Hi, I'm Mike. When asked why we do something the way we do it, my father-in-law Gilbert was famous for saying, well, that's the way we've always done it. He wasn't too big into change. But today, we tackle something that could change how we do things here on the ranch and possibly save us money. It's all about freezing water, stock tanks, heaters, and experiments. Today on Our Wyoming Life. Hi there, and welcome back. Thanks for continuing with us as we explore the ranch life and escape the ordinary. If you're new, please subscribe and be sure to go back and check out what you've missed. Because today is our 2-year anniversary here on YouTube, and in honor of that, we have a giveaway planned during this very video. A grand prize of a $150 prize pack from Our Wyoming Life, including a custom-made belt buckle, hat, coffee mug, whiskey glasses, and some stickers. Second and third prizes are also going to be awarded today as well, so stick around to the end of the video to see if you've won. So a couple weeks ago, we put out a video talking about the woes of frozen water and what we do to combat it. And from that video came a ton of suggestions. What other people are doing to keep their tanks open, or maybe just some ideas that people thought might work. The problem is, you never know if you don't try. And something that might work somewhere else might not work here. So today, we designed an experiment to test some of those ideas. First, we have to prepare for this exercise, figure out what we want to test, what we can test, and how we're going to do it. I don't know how you are, but I tend to do my best thinking on the fly. So let's head to town and get some supplies. Recently, we've gotten a Menards in Gillette, Wyoming. All of our mom and pop hardware stores are gone, the last one closing a few years ago, but Menards does offer an 11% off the entire store at times, and that's where we go, even when we have to make small purchases. That 11% does add up. Here at Menards, we're going to start fresh with a new extension cord for heaters that we're going to test. A kilowatt-hour monitor to measure how much power we're using on each one of those extension cords, and a timer to regulate when heaters run. I hope to be able to test 5 different methods of keeping our water open and drinkable by animals at all times. I'm planning on testing a regular stock tank heater left on all the time, relying on its internal thermostat to kick on and off and keep the water thawed. Another heater that we're going to be putting on a timer, testing to see if leaving it on only at night helps, and eventually varying the times to see if 2 hours on, 2 hours off, or something along those lines might be the ticket. Jess at Govin's Farm and Ranch Supply in Gillette is supplying us with 2 brand new tank heaters and a tank bubbler that circulates water to keep it open, as well as 5 brand new water tanks to test with. All of this has to be loaded and strapped down for the drive back out to the ranch. Once back home, it's time to set up. Deciding where to do this test was a bit tricky, but we settled on across the road by the old farmhouse. We have access to water, a level surface to place the tanks on, along with power. And when the test is done, we're close enough to be able to pump water back into either the bull, horse, or steer water tanks, preserving the water that we're using for testing. With all 5 tanks set up, it's time to start filling tanks. A storm is on the way. We're expected to get between 4 to 8 inches of snow and temperatures down into the low teens tonight. So if we get all this set up, we should actually have some results by tomorrow. With the temperature now at around 28 degrees, we can head inside the house to start setting up power while tanks fill, and we can get everything else ready to go. First, we need to build our heaters. 2 regular floating stock tank heaters will be used today. A shield is actually put in place over the heating elements to keep them away from the sides of the plastic tanks and keep them from melting. You know, I do have to take these back when we're done after all. The pond breather is something I've never used before. However, it will be interesting to see how it works. The packaging claims that it uses 31 times less energy than a standard tank heater and will protect against ice up to 15 inches. Honestly, I'm not too sure about it, but it is worth a try. Our kilowatt hour monitors have LCD screens, so we can't put them outside where they can freeze, but luckily with the house this close, we can run power out the window, keeping our monitoring equipment inside. Each cord receives a monitor that will keep track of the power usage of each heater or pump, and the one gets the timer that allows us to regulate when it's running. For now, we're going to set it to run only at nighttime, when we have our coldest temperatures. Now, someone I'm sure is going to say, what about solar? And we did look into it. In order to run a 1500 watt heater, we'd need 10 square feet of solar panels and batteries to hold the power. We'd also need heaters to keep those batteries from freezing, adding another 5 to 10 square feet of panels, all at a cost of over $5,000, just for one heater. At our current power usage rate for a stock tank heater, it would take over 16 years to pay for itself. And over that time, you'd have to replace batteries, possibly forever keeping you upside down on it. Solar fans, don't fret though. Solar for us makes more sense in the summer, and this summer we're hoping to put in some solar water wells for the cows. Hopefully that makes up for winter raining on our parade when it comes to solar. Back outside, we continue to fill tanks, each tank holding almost 500 gallons. And here's the plan. The first tank is going to hold a tank heater that is on all the time with only its internal thermostat to regulate the heat. The heater turns off at about 35, turns back on at around 30. In the second tank goes the heater that's on a timer, right now set to be only on at night. The third will hold our bubbler, circulating water around where hopefully the movement of the water will keep it from freezing. The last two tanks are left with no heater, both as a control. However, when this one freezes, we're going to break the ice, then remove the broken ice from the tank, allowing the sun to warm it throughout the day. The last tank, we're also going to break the ice, but leave the ice in the tank to see if removing ice from it keeps it from refreezing as fast. That's our experiment. The temperature is dropping fast, and now we just wait out tonight's cold temperatures and storm. We'll be back in the morning, and we'll see what we have to deal with. The next morning, it seems that our storm didn't hit us as hard as we thought it was going to. We still ended up with a couple inches of snow, lots of drifting, and low temperatures that reached about 15 degrees. After feeding the cows, we can head out and take a look at our stock tanks. And promptly get stuck in a snowdrift right outside the shop. Now, this wasn't planned, but after some digging and some back and forth, we can get the gator back into the shop and head to the pickup to get going. Arriving at our test grounds, we find some interesting results. The stock tank heater, where the heater was left on, is open, as expected. But the tank where the heater was on a timer, still completely frozen over. Our bubbler didn't do anything to keep the water from freezing, although it is still bubbling away. And the two tanks on the end, as expected, are frozen as well. Heading into the house, we can check out power usage for the night. The tank on the timer only used 0.87 kilowatt hours of power and ran for about 12 hours, costing right around $1. The bubbler used 0.75 and ran for 16 hours at a cost of about $1 also. The heater that was on all the time, well, it used a bunch more power at 2.8 kilowatt hours at a cost of around $4. Now, I'm not sure why the heater on the timer didn't use more power. It probably should have, but this is an ongoing experiment. We're going to be able to tweak it and play with it over the next week or so and figure it out. More results will be coming as well, including results of breaking ice and removing ice from the tank, just the same as leaving it in. We're also saving the ice that we removed to see how much water we are taking out of the tank by removing the ice. Left alone, this ice would melt and return to the soil and eventually the water aquifer. But a good point was made that we're still paying to pump the water that the ice, of course, is made of. Is that enough to offset the cost of if the water stays open longer by removing it? Well, only time will tell. this experiment is far from over, and I hope to bring you some more results as we go along. I've been tracking everything, and we hope that we learn that, after playing with timers and getting stock tanks and everything set up, that there's an optimal setting and a way to save money and keep water open. I think to succeed in whatever you do, you can't be afraid to try new things. You also have to take the time to find out what works best for you. Do the experiments, and hopefully they're time well spent and help you out in the long run. There's nothing wrong with taking a good suggestion and seeing if it works in your own situation. You can look at numbers and studies all day long, but sometimes the only way to learn is by doing. Hi there. Welcome back. Actually, you didn't go anywhere. You probably stayed right here. I went somewhere. I actually came inside where it's just a wee bit warmer and my butt's not cold from sitting on a stock tank. So today is our 2-year anniversary, and we're really excited to actually have made it this far. We really look forward to going much farther. In fact, here I am working on the video that you're watching right at this very moment, and we plan on doing a lot more of it. I promised you a giveaway, and this is the biggest giveaway that we've done up until this point to commemorate our 2-year anniversary here on YouTube, and it's a $150 prize pack giveaway. What I've got here is the list of our winners. Our grand prize winner, the $150 prize pack, Our Wyoming Life prize pack giveaway winner, which includes a belt buckle, a hat, I got a list over here, a hat, whiskey glass, coffee tumbler, and some stickers, is from Eugene, Oregon, Mark A. Mortensen. Congratulations, Mark, and thank you for doing everything you have done to this point to get us to where we're at and helping us spread the word of agriculture. We also have a couple other prizes that we're giving away as well. These ones were based just off of Facebook, people that commented, people that shared, all that kind of good stuff. Our second prize winner, he gets a trucker hat along with some stickers, is Isaac Green. And our third prize winner, who receives, I can't read the writing over there, honey from right here on the ranch, and some stickers as well, is Sherry Teal. So thank you very much, guys, for all that you do to support Our Wyoming Life and help us spread the word of how important agriculture is and bringing the consumer closer to the producer and making people aware of where their food comes from. So that's it for today. Thank you for coming along with us, and we'll see you next time. Until then, have a great week, and thanks for joining us in Our Wyoming Life.